Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something custom in my album and I'm excited. This is a unique layout, to say the least, and it's not something I've ever done before, so you'll hear me say at the beginning of the recording, unless my husband edits it out, that I'm really not sure how it's going to come together, because in my head it made all kinds of sense, but when you go to translate something sometimes from an idea into an actual design, sometimes it doesn't quite pan out the right way. I think it turns out pretty well though. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and we are going to play today. And what I mean by that is I am flying by the seat of my pants. Today's layout is essentially the last one that will be in the video series for volume 2 of my Ireland album. And I wanted to do something special for this layout for a number of reasons, but I think I may have bit off more than I can chew. We'll see how it turns out, and hopefully I'll be able to make it happen. What's going on in my head will translate to what's going on the page. What you're seeing right here are a series of my templates that I made for myself using the custom cutting ovals, because if you've been watching my channel, you've heard my sob story about the fact that I don't have the plastic pieces any longer that have the actual like blue and red and green lines that indicate exactly how large an oval might be. Plus, visually speaking, this works so much better for me than that. So I cut one of every size that I could make from these, and there's way more than what you see represented here, but these are the ones I think I'm going to use today. And we are going to try to make a feather, a really big feather. And the really big feather is going to be many different colors. And you'll see why when you see my photos. So as a base for the feather, but not as a base for my page, but as a base for my feather, I have some pieces of paper that you may recognize the color of. These are actual pages from CM, the natural colored pages that I cut the jeeping off of. Now, before you get all excited and go, "Oh, I couldn't do that, that's destroying a page," just know that somewhere along the line, I got a package of natural pages that were missing one of the hinges. So the whole entire package of pages only had one hinge on the side. And so I contacted Home Office and they told me to go ahead and keep them, do whatever I wanted to with them, that they would send me a new package, and they did. And the new package had 2 hinges. So I used those many, many moons ago. But I didn't know, and I have kept these sheets with the jeeping on them and only one hinge, and didn't know what I was going to do with them. And the other day I thought to myself, I should just cut the jeeping off and use that paper because it's photo safe paper, and why throw it out, you know? They don't call this scrapbooking for nothing, right? So I cut the jeeping off of all the pages, and I thought, you know, that would make such a great base for what I'm trying to accomplish with this particular layout. We'll see if it works, but what I'm going to do is I've got a variation of sizes of the ovals here, and I'm going to just cut some half, not full ovals, but just some I don't know what to call them. It's not a ring because it's not a circle, but it's like a ring, but it's in an oval. You'll see when I get to it, when I get it all cut. Okay. So what I have here are the cuttings off of or the scraps from all the different rainbow things that I have made so far in this series. And so I'm just going to try to use up some of this paper, because I had, you know, some of it is really good to use and I don't want to waste a whole new sheet of paper to do it. So I'm going to start with purple at the bottom. We're going to rotate up to red at the top, I think. And I just want to try to make a rainbow. So that's the goal anyway. So I'm using three different sized ovals to do this. I have all but, so if you are familiar with this system, you know there are 4 different sized ovals. The one I'm missing is the second to largest. We won't use that one in any of this that we're going to do today, but we are going to use the biggest one and the 2 smallest ones. And right now I'm going to use the 3.5 by 5, which is this one. 3.5 by 5 is not the smallest, but the next one up. Alright, so I'm going to place this so that I can cut half of the oval, like I said before, and I'm only going to cut using, I'm going to start with the blue blade, because the blue blade's going to cut the farthest away. And this is going to maybe take the bulk of this video, so I'm sure we'll be speeding it up at some point, because this is not going to be something you're all going to want to watch for the whole time that we are filming this. Alright, so I just adjusted this, so I'm going to fix it. Put it back best I can. There we go. That's pretty good, I think. Okay, then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to use my red blade. Okay, so that's going to give me a really wide piece, but I believe that's what I want. Okay, then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to also make another one. And again, I am, as I said before, flying by the seat of my pants, right? So we are going to do a lot of trimming on this, but this is the base that we're going to start with. And we'll see really how far we can get with this, because yeah, I've never seen anyone do this before, and I, to be completely honest with you, have not tried this. I am basically just winging it. And I hate to waste paper, so initially I was thinking I would cut, you know, another piece, but I'm glad that I can get more pieces out of one cut. You know, because that's good. And I am mostly just eyeballing this, so you're gonna, if you decide you want to do this for yourself, I would definitely just keep in mind this is definitely going to be an artistic experience. It's one of those cases where every single one's going to turn out a little different. Alright, we're going to stop there. I've got 5 versions of that size. Let's see if maybe I'll do just a few more. We don't need a whole bunch more, but I do need a few more. So we'll come over here kind of more to the side. And again, I'm going to start off with my blue blade. Okay, the key, if you are trying to figure out the custom cutting system and it frustrates you, which it does some people, to be completely honest, the key to using the custom cutting system and being happy with what you get from it is to make sure that these two posts right here go into the trough, into the the guidance area, this little trough that goes around the outside and the inside. Because if they don't, for some reason, your paper's going to tear, you're going to be really unhappy and feel like throwing things. I know, because I've been there. So just try to be careful and make sure that when you use this, that your posts are going into the right groove. Okay, so there's the purple ones. I'm gonna set those over there. We're going to use, or we're gonna go ahead and, it looks like I kind of did this backwards as far as my order goes, because Roy G. Biv is red, orange, yellow, and I started from the dark. So bear with me. I'm just gonna flip this so it's easier for me to grab them in order. Actually, I think I'm gonna grab this other one. Let's use this one instead of that one. Okay, so still using the same sized template, and I'm just gonna go ahead and trim off. Let's see, we'll go about right there. All right. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just sort of fast forward through all of this, because I know it's just going to take a long time to cut all these. So you'll still get to see it, but you won't have to watch it, all of it. Ah, I was wrong. We do need the 4x6 oval for one of these. I'm sorry. I led you astray. I apologize. All right, so these last couple are going to be red. I'm just going to use this piece. And this is going back to the 3.5 by 5, which is this one. We're going to use the inside of this one. And if you were watching as I cut these, when I went to cutting them from the inside, I had to kind of employ a different procedure. So, and the reason that I did that is because if you have more of the template sitting on the paper, then it will keep it stabilized better, enabling you to cut it more successfully. If you don't have a sufficient amount of the paper under the template, then you end up with your paper wanting to tear and you losing some more of your hair, which is, you know, precious. We don't want that to happen. So if you do it this way, where you are cutting from the small edge to the big edge, then it's a little easier. Okay, so there's the red ones. And we're going to do some more red ones just really quickly. And I'm going to cut them using the green blade, which is not going to make a huge big difference here, because we'll probably end up coming in and trimming them up anyway. So I'm not really too concerned about it. And you'll notice that I've cut most of them using the red blade. Just laying it on top, cutting, going back up, cutting, moving it in about 1/8 of an inch, cutting again, coming back down, moving it in, going back up, just so you get pieces. And they don't have to be even. They just need to be gradual. Okay, so there's some more for when we get there, because the top is going to be a whole different thing, I think, if I have this figured out right. Okay, I'm going to leave these blades out for right now because we have one more pattern to cut, and so those are going to go right there. And I'm going to, do I have a piece? Here we go. I'm going to just use one of my dividers to hold all of these while I play with the paper that I have it sitting on. Okay, so those will just set over here for a second. All right, so I have two pieces of paper out here, not because I necessarily need two pieces of paper, but visually I needed to see two pieces of paper. This is the jumbo oval that we got years and years ago with old CM. And basically I just traced the outside, so it's going to not be exactly the shape that I have it here. But I need to cut a piece of this that's going to somewhat follow that same arch. Okay, so I'm I'm only cutting from the center of the narrow side to where it starts to straighten out over here on this side. Okay, so I'm going to use, which blade should we use? Doesn't really matter, I don't think. So we'll just use the red blade because that one's going to follow my shape the best because it's the closest cut. Okay, so I'm going to go around, and as soon as it starts to level out, I'm going to stop my cut, and I'm going to come in here with my zero centering ruler and I'm going to try to follow this angle the best I can with that. Let's see. Easier said than done. Okay. Because I don't want it to go down and go off the page too quickly. So I'm going to actually come in here with just use my X-Acto knife and cut this. I think that's going to be the easiest thing. And actually use this. This is a tool I got in a kit from Cricut way back when I first started using Cricut. I don't use it very often, but it is a rotating blade, so it makes it much easier. You put your, it's made by Fiskars, as you can see. So maybe I didn't get it from Cricut, but I thought I did. Okay, so I'm gonna pick it up here where that cut stops and just bring it all the way out to the edge, like so. Okay. Then I need to cut it going the other direction as well. So let me go ahead and just cut this side off so we have less paper getting in the way. And I didn't do that very well. So let's try it again. There. Alright, so that can go over there. Now we need that oval again so that we can cut this side. And I'm going to bring this right up so that my cut is hopefully going to meet, and if it doesn't, I can always come back and fix that with my precision point scissors, but please make sure that is in the groove. Okay. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Started here, stopped when we got to the point where we were going to straighten out. And then just going to follow my straight edge out. And it's getting fatter at the bottom, but that's okay. I kind of want it to do that, so not a big deal. So if you have a tool like this, then you can use it, or you can use your scissors and just make it have a point right there. All right, now in addition to that, I have 7.5 inches more that I want to have a piece that's the same width. So I'm going to measure this. This is roughly 1/2 inch. That makes it easy. Wow, like I planned it or something. 1/2 inch, and we need 7.5. What did I say? 7.5 inches. Whoops, that's a full inch. What am I doing? Okay. There we go. All right. And then this needs to be 7.5 inches, so we'll just measure this out to, and I'm going to use the pointed end because I feel like then I don't have to make a pointed end, right? So 7.5 inches. There we go. Okay, this is going to be the center of my feather. Why is that important? Well, we're going to build this upside down, and we need the quill part that goes all the way through the feather. So this is going to be the feather on one side of the page. This will be the continuation of it on the other side of the page. I may need to put a little of an angle on that, but hi there.
Hello.
Michael's home.
Maggie's come to say hello.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, Maggie. She's always wondering what I'm doing up here. Sometimes she climbs on the table and gets into my stuff. We gave her a haircut, as you can see. Say hi, Max. Say hi. She's like, I don't know why I'm up here when Mama always yells at me for being on her desk. Yep.
My fault.
It's okay. So I'm just going to erase this line that I had penciled in. So that it will not be in the final product. And I'm going to smooth these cuts out too. Because they are a little bit rough. Because I didn't make the transition exact. Okay. That's going to have to do. All right, so here we go. Let's get started, shall we? This is the part where we have to be super brave. I have to be super brave. You're watching this, and if you're watching this, that means that it worked out, I guess, huh? so you don't have as much to be stressed out about as I do. All right, I'm going to actually, I think, start with the red end because I just think that would be easier. Okay, so I'm just going to come back to the back here and use my repositionable adhesive. Cover that piece with repositionable adhesive. Every bit of the stem needs to be covered eventually, but we're going to take a little bit at a time, so I'm not too worried about that. You know what I need to do too? I'm going to just cut a base. For me to work off of. We'll make it red so that if there's gaps, the red blends in, maybe? That's the thought process anyway. Okay, so we'll do like that. And then I'm going to cover this with adhesive. Actually, I need to do that differently. Okay, sorry. Thinking this through as I go. All right, so covered the top with adhesive. Now I'm going to come in here and add some feathers as if this was the very top. Maybe I don't need to, well, we're just going to use that to hold hold the shape for now. I'm just barely putting any bit of a space between that. I don't think I want that big thick one there on the end. I think I want that. All right, so now I'm going to come in and put the very tip of that feather at the very end. Okay, then I'm going to come in here with some other ones, and I'm just barely putting a tiny space between the feathers, just a hair's width. I'm going to come in here and trim these eventually. Okay, now we're going to go move to orange. Anyway, you get the idea, so we'll speed this up so you can see where this is going. Alright, so all of our colors are on, and there is our rough feather. Now I need to trim this just a little bit, so I'm going to just try to trim it using my precision point scissors the best I can. None of these need to be shape specific. They can be irregular, and that's good because they're gonna be. Because whenever you cut like this, at least whenever I cut like this, I'm not terribly precise. So let's see, I think I want to come back and make this one a little bit thinner on the edge. So he comes to a point. Same thing for all of these. They need to be thinner on the edge than they are in the center. But they don't have to all be the same length. Like the length doesn't have to be super streamlined. I just want it to be roughly the same. Okay, and these here on the end, whoop, hang on, let me take care of a couple that are a little wayward back here first. That might be this might be an easier angle to trim them on for you if you are trying to trim some. Only because it's I'm gonna leave those. I don't know why exactly, but it just seems to be easier. Okay, I'm going to try to remove that oval from the back here because I want to be able to see through those feathers, and this was just helping me get those end pieces in place since the feather, the stem of the feather is so narrow. Oops, see, that one came off. Okay. Here. I think this one would work better anyway. What I would really love is to be able to make that end piece be kind of rounded, but I don't know. I'm good enough to just kind of trim it like that, I suppose. That doesn't look too funky. All right, let's see what needs to be trimmed over on these last couple. Some of that might get trimmed off anyway, depending on where it gets placed on the page. Okay, I think we are finally ready to play with the layout. This is why I don't often do paper art, because it takes forever. But this is a special page, so that's my justification. How's that? Okay, so here are the pictures that we are doing in the layout for today. We're actually going to mat some of them, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what this is, because until we started looking into visiting, in fact, let me just go ahead and we'll mat some of these right now. Until we looked into visiting Ireland, we did not know that this existed. But when we first started looking into it, my mom said, I have to see that. And she wasn't wrong. It was really neat. This is a monument that sits in the middle of a park. You can see all the green around it. There's a park bench back there. This is a monument that was built by the Irish people to honor a Native American nation whose who blessed the lives of the Irish people during a very critical time in their history. This, you can see that a little bit better, how it sits in the middle of the park. And I'm going to just trim this. I know I'm using the wrong trimmer, sorry. It's really a neat story. So if you're familiar with Irish culture, then you are familiar with the potato famine that went down and killed massive amounts of people. We learned a lot more about the potato famine during our visit. Tony, our driver, taught us a great deal, and so we learned a lot more. The reason the potato famine was happening in the first place initially was not because the Irish people couldn't grow anything. It was because Britain had imposed such great restrictions on the Irish people that all the food, all the good food that they were able to grow was sent to Britain. So the only thing left for the Irish people to eat were potatoes. And then came a blight. A blight is where you have a fungus that attacks a crop, and it attacked the potato crop. So here the Irish people are growing, farming, trying to feed themselves, and the English came along and said, you're one of our colonies that we have taken control over, and you will provide food for our people first. And then, if there's anything left over, you can feed your people. So, the potato famine came along and almost wiped out the Irish because there simply was no food. People were starving to death everywhere. Enter the Choctaw Nation in America. And it wasn't that their contribution reversed the potato famine. It was that they thought and sacrificed enough to share. The Choctaw Nation had experienced much of similar circumstances where their people were starving due to the government, and So they felt a kinship to the Irish people because they'd been there and felt that and experienced what it was like to not be able to feed their families. So they saved or contributed as much money as they could. They sent $170 US to aid the people in Ireland. This marker that is in front of this monument, the Kindred Spirits Choctaw Monument, says, "This sculpture of 9 stainless steel feathers acknowledges our thanks to the Choctaw Nation for their kindness to our ancestors during the famine." And I'm not going to try to say that because I'll say it wrong, but in 1847. They, only 16 years before, had been dispossessed of their sacred lands and forcibly removed to Oklahoma. They had suffered the Trail of Tears, on which many died, particularly the old and the young, during one of the harshest winters in memory. Yet on hearing of the suffering of Irish men, women, and children, they had the kindness, generosity, and greatness of spirit to respond and to help by donating $170, a huge sum at that time. This Choctaw Monument is a token of our thanks for their famine gift. In bestowing the Choctaw famine gift, they bestowed a blessing not only on the starving men, women, and children of Ireland, but on the whole of humanity, and progressed the evolution of all mankind. And down here it says, and I don't know if I'll say it right, but it says Gorev Ma Hagut. I think that's how you say that. And that means thank you very much, goodbye, or it also means may there be 1,000 goodnesses by you. So just a really cool monument. Really neat to see at night. If you are there visiting, try to make arrangements to see it at night. It is in and I'm not going to get this right, so I have to cheat, County Cork. And so if you're in that area, definitely make a point of going and seeing it. Okay, so I'm going to take this repositionable adhesive. I'm going to run it all along the spine of the feather. I'm actually thinking that I want to anchor down the outer edges of this as well. So let's put a few of these, give a few of these some adhesive. Careful, I folded mine over. That's not the move I wanted to make. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this feather down. Oops, hang on. I forgot. It needs to come in contact with this edge over here. So do like that. So not all of the pieces are adhered on the edges, but they're all adhered along the center edge there. Okay, then we're going to do something similar here with this piece. I'm going to put my pages together so that I have a rough idea of where that needs to connect, and we'll trim off the bits that hang over. Okay, so there's that. So we'll come back in here and trim that. And I'm going to open these up and just that could have gone better. Maybe we'll cut it. All right, so there's our feather. And then, let's see, I think what I had in mind was I was going to put this one here, and this one here. There. I don't like these being so disconnected, but I don't know how to not have it be that way. Maybe move that in. I think maybe some of this needs to be layered a little bit. Let's see. Maybe what we'll do is like that. We'll put that one there. And those two are both relatively close to the same thing. But I don't know, I just really liked how you could see it just looks different in this picture than it does in this one to me. So, but ultimately, I suppose we really only need one of them. And I'd rather have the enlargement, so I think that one's going to go over there. And these two, maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of offset them just a little. Like that. And then we can journal down here. All right, let me get these adhered. Now I feel like we should put some kind of an embellishment. All right, so I have a variety of things here. I don't know if we'll use the flowers or not, but these came off of the 2024 Simple Pages kit for March, and this that says Irish scenery with a heart that's over the flag is most or this comes from a smaller sticker sheet that I got from Scrapbook, scrapbooks.com. So I think we'll put that, I'm not sure where we'll put that, hang on, but that's going to be one cluster. I like this flag that says wonderful things, and we can, let's see, but my favorite is this one that says there is always something to be thankful for, which I feel like needs to go on this page. So let's put a couple of flags on the back of this. Do that one, and we'll do this other one that's striped. And we'll add, so this is going to go right here. Along with a couple of these heart stickers. Okay, there's always something to be thankful for. Then we're going to do this one that says wonderful things. And then we'll have this one go kind of down here and just sort of bring a highlight to the monument itself. So I think it was Jean recently asked if I would do some layouts that suggested, or that would give you guys some good ideas of ways to use your matte packs that go along with all of your different collections, which I would love to do for you. It's tricky to do in my Ireland album because there are no mats to go with this. So that makes it just a little bit harder. There's also only a limited number of stickers, so that's why I've had to kind of branch out and use some other ones. But I think for the most part it usually comes together fairly well. This page, I love the feather. I don't know if I love the embellishments as much, but I love the feather, and I love the reason for this monument, and that the Irish people chose to honor the Native Americans who sacrificed so much to try to help in an extreme time of need. What an honorable thing to do. So, oh, another quick little story. I'll just tell really fast. This, we visited this just after Haley discovered that she'd left her phone at Blarney. In the cafe, we thought, but we weren't sure. And so our sweet tour guide called the hotel there and asked if someone could please search for her phone and let us know if they found it. And so in the meantime, we came and visited Kindred Spirits, and then we went back to pick up her phone. And on the way, we watched some really fun things on the road. So you've heard, if you're my age or older, then you probably remember a movie that Burt Reynolds was in, and a whole host of other people, called Cannonball Run.
Goodman.
Drive right around the speed limit.
We all make mistakes, miss, but 160?
Where they raced from one coast to the other in the United States. Well, in Ireland they do something very similar, And it happened to be on the day that we were there in September. And so we didn't know what was going on, but all of a sudden we started seeing these fancy, fancy race cars, like Ferraris and other fancy cars that were in traffic with us. And then we saw all these cars parked on the side of the road and all these people out in the rain standing there cheering. And we said to Tony, what is going on? And he said, is that what's, and he was like checking some stuff on his phone, and he goes, oh yeah, he said, this is the coast to coast car rally day, and there's a name for it, and I did not write it down. So if you know what it is, I would love it if you'd put it in the comments. But it was such a fun little addition to this particular day when we were a little bit upended because of Haley not having her phone, but then the hotel called and said that they had found it. So we turned around after visiting that monument, and we drove back to Blarney and picked up her phone, which was so nice of them. They just, every time we turned around, there was somebody doing something nice to help us out, which was so lovely. This ends Volume 2 of my Ireland series, and we'll get started on Volume 3 and Day 6 of our trip next time around. And I'm excited because there's a whole lot more of this trip to bring to you. So I hope that you are are okay to watch this for the long haul. Please just remember, if you're still watching this video, that these layouts and things that I'm showing you can be used with any paper for any purpose. Not all of them will have such a strong, representation as this. But most layouts can be used for any purpose. And so I hope that you'll watch and enjoy going on this trip with us as we do these pages. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.